out here. I don't know where everybody is, but I'm in Southern California. And I do poetry, but I also do poetry with music. Right now, it's just too difficult because people in separate places. You know how it's figured technologically so. But I was glad to be able to come here with you guys today. So I'll just read a few things. Do you want to go in a round robin, or are we supposed to read like a few poems, or how do you see it?
I think each person has 10 to 15 minutes, I think, and then we can do whoever wants to open mic.
Oh, awesome. Okay, thank you. Let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Thank you. So this is a poem. I just wrote a poem for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So this poem is poem I just wrote for her magazine. It's called RBG. There's a flurry of judicial collars lining the clouds. Every decision and every dissent stays in the air like musical breath. With your penchant for opera, you were a fermata of wisdom, holding on through the ravages and chaos. Pioneer and epic, full of verb and mind-shattering strength, wearing resistance and resilience on your soul. Supreme being, superhero, legendary icon for good. You will remain larger than life in our memories. Breathing your last breath on Rosh Hashanah is said to be the way of the righteous. You are notorious, thrilling, doing what you were put on earth to do. You leave behind stardust and legal briefs and push-ups and tenacity. You were the first in your class. You were one of a kind. You are remembered with respect. The opera glasses hang in the air, waiting for more and more and more to see how you became music. Through the sky, wisdom sings our hopes awake. Your legacy still lives on earth in every constellation that needs truth. Oh, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you are so dearly missed. It is now up to us to put our collars on and walk into the future with the opera whispering in our ear like a ferocious future in a crescendo. It is now up to us to sing your memory home.
Good job.
Yes, very good.
Thank you.
I'm doing sign language applause tonight.
You're like finger snaps.
Thank you. This one, I mean, I wrote this in winter 2016, but it still seems relevant, so I'll read this one too. This one's called 2016, the year the 20th century finally died. The year so many musicians died, and the year freedom seemed to be moving underground. Caskets filled the air. We live in times of turmoil, clocks speeding quicker and quicker. Middle age seems old. Seniors seem timeless. There's a lethargy in the way people move. There's a liturgy on the tip of our tongues. There's something in the morning cereal. It looks like newsprint. There's something in the evening news. It seems like farce. As though this couldn't be real. This over-the-top peek into tragedy's eyelid. This shiver that lives in our psyche like snow. We ski into another winter. The world is on a ski lift. Cocoa is leaving its space around a cup. We stir and it's January. We stir and it's the 20th century. We stir and it looks like it's black and white newsreels. History tries to repeat itself as the people in power like sequels. People wear the hero mask, the death mask, the face and the heart. People make choices. The stores sell everything. One of the strongest songs from Rodgers and Hammerstein, You've Got to Be Carefully Taught. Prejudging is the name of the game so many households play. Play Rummy Cube instead. Play solitaire. Don't be influenced by peers. 1 minute to midnight, the people don't know if the year will leave us dangling from some threshold. History said, look at me with your eyes of flame. Burn my pain in your memory. Walk into the libraries and kiss all the spines. The earth is spinning whether people stay on it or not. What if earth falls in the forest and nobody is there to hear it? The last person on earth will carry a pencil. That is why Earth has survived this long.
Hmm.
And then,
Very nice. Very
is
nice.
it? Should I read another? I don't know. Is that was I read?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Really.
Read a couple more. Things. This is so nice to be with people from all over. It's so nice to. I'm looking forward to hearing everybody and everything. So I'll read a couple more. I guess it's okay. This one's called Being an Artist. Being an artist means the recession will always be there and has always been here. While you sit not writing screenplays, not taking meetings, just writing love letters to Van Gogh's beard, not wearing a watch, not caring who's on the cover of People magazine. Being an artist means you might sleep awfully late. You might choose totally different things as the 4 major food groups. Being an artist might mean you feel depressed and make others feel distressed when they are near you. Being an artist means you probably memorize the aisles at the 99-cent store. You probably have a $12 service charge each month for low funds in your checking account. Being an artist means you don't feel you have the right to remain silent. Being an artist might make people think you're on drugs. Being an artist means people think your closet is full of turtlenecks and mood rings. People assume you play harmonica. People assume you know all the words to every song released in the 1960s. Being an artist means you do. Being an artist means serenity, intensity, sometimes simultaneously. Being an artist means you have the power of civil disobedience on the tip of your tongue. Being an artist means shrinking tie-dye t-shirts because you were thinking about a poem and didn't notice the washer was on hot water. Being an artist is an active verb, a noun, a consonant, an adjective in a world full of chaotic life sentences. Being an artist is not necessarily a choice. So
that one is true.
Thank you. So maybe I'll just close with this one. Is that okay? Just read the one more little one.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you. It's so hard to gauge time. You know what I mean? I don't want to read too much or too little. You know what I mean? I don't know what. Time's so different for people sometimes. But thank you. So this is called Do You Fear Me? Do you fear me because I wear a purple friendship bracelet? Do you fear having me as a friend? Are you afraid to introduce me to your grandparents? The only perfect thing about me is my perfect lack of confidence. Does that freak you out? I'm fat. How does that sit with you? I wear political pins. Does that bother you? I'm a bookworm. Does that depress you? Are you terrified because I've been bas mitzvah? Are you scared because I think spiders are sacred? I'm left-handed. Ooh, no comment. Do you worry about me because I'm a virgin? Because I'm loud and sometimes embarrassing? Are you weary of spending time with me? I know where the feminist bookstores are in a whole bunch of states. Does that make you tremble? People think I'm younger and older than I am. Does that reflect badly on you somehow? I don't always comb my hair. Can you hear it coming? Is it my ugliness or beauty that frightens you the most? Are you afraid of me because I'm human? So, thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Who would like to go next?
Sorry? What?
Who would like to go next? If no one volunteers, I'll have to name somebody.
Thanks, Sabne. Again, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
For being willing to do this. Okay, Pauletta, do you want to go next?
I'm happy to. I think Lorie just raised her hand, though, but if...
Did she? I'm sorry, I'm not even looking at electronic hands and stuff. That's my bad.
I'll go. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll go after Lorie if that's...
Yeah, that's
do it
fine.
that way. Yeah.
Well, since this is the first day of autumn, I came across this one and I thought, okay, I'll go ahead and share it. I'm from the northern part of the Appalachians, Maine, to be exact. Mount Katahdin is there, and that's where the Appalachian chain starts. And of course, up there we call it Appalachia. But we had our traditions up there too, and one of them was leafing. Transparency of fire orange, red of heady wine, metallic warmth of some deft carver sculpting out the shadows from the brightness of these hills. Our eyes rise to the bowl of turquoise luminescence, thoughts flung back to Eustis Ridge below the Rangeleys, the view stretching beyond what our eyes can see. Each year, the family trek to breathe the openness and excitement of autumn at the north end of the Appalachians. Now to see with friends below the Ohio in these oaken hills. No clothes of evergreen to warmly wrap sand-footed hills from winter's chills. We gaze heavenward as in the past. We speak of the things we do in autumn. Admiring maples, crushing acorns underfoot in Cleveland, to know winter's nearness, eating roasted chestnuts in Boston, remembering Eustis Ridge, slushing through the colored leaves, looking over the edges of earth and touching the far horizon with our eyes.
Good job.
Nice.
This revisits childhood, and this lady's name really is what the poem says it is. Dance recital. Divina Mudge had an awareness fit for a tree in spring desiring to blossom. Songs played in her head and music oozed from her feet. Dance class never ended. Slaughter on 10th Avenue for 20 prepubescent girls gaining grace, each releve and tourgette, the song's exacting pace to memorize the tough routine. Each sweet and sweaty child, no knowledge of the strain's intent, carried on the sense of each piano note, pounded out as in a genteel honky-tonk. The Rogers melody refined, yet brazen, bold in sensuality, each graceful or not quite so child moved to careful step with elegance and charm. No mother felt dishonor for her enchanting child who danced in innocence the ballet of a murder.
That makes me think.
It made me think after I got to thinking about it. Divina Mudge was quite a character in our town. This one is in honor of, or in memory of J.P. and Anadine Fraley, who had many years ago, 50 years ago this September, it started the Fraley Traditional Music Festival. And this year was the first time that it's not been able to be taking place. JP was a wonderful fiddler. Fiddle tunes. He played ragged tunes caught around edges of wind over craggy green hills, scraping notes up from shallow olive creeks, muddled memories, still wandering serpentine trails. Bowing ripples of springs cascading over unexpected falls, hidden in outcroppings, blooming to full measure, ringing loud and true, not a hint of mountain shyness, bold as pink trillium and redbud against black bark. Maysville dances my heart to old dusty roads on steamy days back to Sally Ann. His rosin hot against the strings, great fiddle tunes don't need words sung crooked and wild. coal and clay dust clinging tight against each reverberating string. No foreigner's ear could truly understand the ragged notes, cloud-worthy on a sweet Maysville day when we're dancing to Margaret's waltz, hearts holding us tight to each plaintive held note.
Very nice. Yes. Very nice.
And here's a bit of a change of pace. This is the one I was going to start reading before we had that interesting intermission.
A rude intermission.
Yes, quite. Carp. And this is based on a piece of artwork, an oriental artwork of two carp swimming in a pool of lotuses. Carpe diem, seize it on a hook, bright waters flow, chasing water wings, dragonfly or damsel, garlanded among the lotus and bamboo, moments gliding into greater waters, paper boats, pristine till sodden, carry children's laughter, then sink below fiery backs of shimmering nishigikoi. Dreams slip away in small pools. Carpe diem, wet-backed children seek solace. No cool pool for golden carp to float pretty dreams on strangers' waters. Guatemalan children get lost. Carpe diem, there's no escape from these waters.
Yeah, very nice.
Isadora Duncan is quoted as saying, "You were once wild here. Don't let them tame you." I think for poets that's good advice. Wild is in my head, my heart, my skin. Wild is where you are in my dreams, secret, hidden, even from me. Wild is what grows in meadows on these great rolling hills, these impertinent rock croppings, these dry creeks, these deep, cool forests. Wild is the breeze, unexpected cool, coming down from the mossy hill when all is 90 and above, when this wild skin is called to hide in shaded places, called to be alone and wanting you.
That's very nice.
It was nice.
And I'll end with this one. This is so true for a lot of young people. At 18, she said, "What's left for me here?" So she left for places unknown, left-handed and squarely on the left side of life. Though unintentionally, she landed hard smack in the middle of the unexpected at 42 miles per hour, hit those steps from one flight up. She never stopped. She rose as Phoenix for what's left after free flight. He chased a dream that never was, that ever was bearing down on his heart. He left her there. She never wondered what's left. Mother and father filled 3 storage rooms at U-Haul. What's left of the passage of blues? What's left of the songs once they're sung? What's left of the going when there's so much coming next? What's left when we're gone and all that remains is in the hands of those who loved us and wonder, is this all they left behind? What's left now? What's left? Think, what's right? I had a note that I came across I thought was wonderful advice, and I want to share it before I turn the screen over to someone else. It's a wonderful new note, it says. Keep calm and write something.
Hey.
Thank you.
So shall I go next then? Sabne, is that okay?
Okay, so
Okay.
rude interlude. I kind of lost track of it. Yes.
I had said I would go next if that's okay. Okay, I think Sabne's sort of, her
Yes.
voice is coming in and out. Okay. So I'm Pauletta Hansel, and I want to just real quick before I forget, I edit a journal called Pine Mountain Sand and Gravel, and we're having a reading on Zoom, hopefully not being Zoom bombed. On Monday, and so I'm putting it in the chat in case anybody's interested in that. So put that up. So I'm going to read. I want to start with a poem that is brand new, and then read some from a manuscript I'm working on. But this first poem, was just written yesterday. For the friend who asked me to write a poem about Breonna Taylor, 9/23/2020. Because she said that today the only words she had to say were ugly. Because injustice is a shot into dark that always hits its mark. Because a knee on the neck of a dying man has lost all metaphorical possibility. Because a sleeping woman cannot say, they'll kill me, they'll kill me. Because they did. Because they will again. Because I live with the luxury of breath, I give this breath to say their names more beautiful than any words I claim. Natasha, Janisha, Megan, Maya, Sandra, India, Betty, Corinne, Deborah, Charlena, Editanya, Brianna. I'm working on a manuscript called I Tell You Now, and what I'm going to try to do is to read from the first section, just the first several poems from this manuscript, and just to see how it sounds all together. And you'll hear that there are some repeating themes, but also repeating titles of poems within the manuscript itself. So the first poem, Story. I don't mean to be ungrateful. I was bred for wanting more, the way a racehorse is bred for the wind's scent. Those impossible legs like winged twigs that will snap in a high wind. What moves us onward is the same sometimes as what breaks us to the ground. Here's a story about my grandfather that I don't like to tell. How he found a World War II deserter's bundle tucked inside a cave. How he kept the money, then turned the guy in for a $15 reward. I'm not saying our people weren't hungry. We were always hungry. I'm not saying who my grandfather was is who I am. What my mother wanted was to be far away from where she started. What my father wanted was to begin again. I'm telling you, the hardest thing I ever had to do is to stop wanting what I already have. Letter to myself, 15. Listen, girl. You are, despite yourself, becoming, not become. I know you think there's safety in the fused bone, woman grown. There is no safety in your body, stretched lean into the world, only skin between you and your longing. And skin can be broken, and you can be broken. You are. We are. Girl, listen, I say. But I know you did not. My words are a swirl picked up by the wind, brought back to me. Become.
Nice.
Dirt. What people in town remember about my family's home was the dirt in the fenced yard where no grass could stay grown, worn down by the feet of the kids Mom kept in the daycare where I worked too, the summer I was 15, in my shorts and tank top, sitting out on the rock wall that bisected the dirt of the yard from the dirt of the driveway. Once an old woman driving stopped. I don't know how old is old, maybe the old I am now, older than dirt, carved crevices around her mouth to tell me she once had a waist like mine, steep sloping down, though her ass set up higher. I have been thinking about dirt, or maybe the rock along the road I never noticed I'd noticed growing up there, sandstone and shell striated with coal that always looked wet even in summer, grass a paler brown than the dirt, which, depending on where in the county you were, might be a gravelly, sandy, stony, silty loam. Maybe she said buttocks. Probably she said butt. I didn't know what to say to her. I had nothing to say. On the road out of town, Kentucky 15 to the Parkway to the highway, an hour to there, and you're almost to Lexington, where there's something to do, not sit surrounded by kids and old and dirt, rough, broken, mountainous, deeply dissected. I didn't know that I knew how the farther you got up the road, the coal is gone. There's clay in the rock, and the grass is greener. I mean, really, it is on the other side. The road. There is one patch of Route 15 just north of what was home, where whatever weather is, there is more of it. Cloudburst, blizzard, smear of sun that finds its way through needle eye of mountain. You've pulled the tangled thread of road with you this far. Go on. No one waits, hand up to curtain listening for your graveled turn. There is only past throwing its shadow on the lane that sends you back toward what is gone. Your eyes will soon adjust. When did you know it's not enough to carry splintered pieces underneath your skin? Home is the place where, when you have to go there, you only think about how to get out. Busted up doll heads where the canned goods used to be. Sun-steeped, hill-buckled sidewalks, and everybody just looks tired. Nobody cares this is where your mother used to buy her meat. The houses you lived in plowed under, moles scuttled through plumbing cracked with black dirt and roots. Nobody cares about your old woman body grown on the bones of the girl who walked these streets. Everybody has their own worn bones. Everybody remembers you, sort of. The newspaper man calls you by your mother's name. You can't remember the name of who you sat next to in math class or whose back seat you crawled out of nights, the river fog so dense you came home hair and misplaced clothes all damp and smelling like mountain. Nobody cares you know this town by what is gone. The stench of grease spilled from the closed pool hall, the mailbox on the corner where the boys sprawled, pelvises jutted out to block your path. You pull up your car too close to the high curb somebody told you was made for hitching horses. Nobody had any horses. I'll read a couple more. Story. My mother said she never asked again who her oldest brother's father was. Granny didn't want to talk about it. That's all we needed to know. So I made stories in my head of someone kinder than my grandpa, his lips not folded thin inside a nighttime scruff of peppered gray. I wanted that comfort for her, and if not in life, in memory of a silken tangle of flesh hidden beneath tall rows of corn back in Virginia where her people stayed. She never went back home, not even after Grandpa died, and she cut off her waist-length hair, let her youngest daughter, Helen, give her a home perm. Years later, almost everybody dead, Aunt Helen told me that old story. A widowed father stumbled drunk, grizzling himself into his daughter's bed. Her name was Etta. Before I knew her, 10 children had torn through that secret place her father had claimed. Wow. Letter to myself, 15. I want to tell you how in time everything shows on the skin. Today, turning my wrist to bite an apple, I saw a new ridge at the base of my palm, a gentle rise of loosened flesh, not like the sharp-slashed mountains where you, in my mind, your only home, remain. Think instead of farmland, river basin, sloped pastures, plowed field. Oh, you smooth girl, broken only by the sharp protrusion of bone you were so proud of. Ankle, knee, hip, steep pitch of pelvic cage above the valley, the ridge of ribs. You hungered away the softness. Your power lay not in the just ripe plums of breast, but in the knob between them. What have I done to you? What did you do to me? There is a small scar, a distant lightning bolt on my right wrist, slashed all those years ago by the impatience of the left thumb's jagged nail. Every time I see its raised white welt, I think of the one who hurt me open then. His love, we'll call it that, a scalpel to the other scars you once lifted your body to receive, now invisible beneath the bone. Did you believe if you could hide what did not heal, the hurt would cease to matter? But we are made of matter, girl. And now this body you have left me to begins to show your leaving. Think deer track through the fallow winter field where every step in thawing ground is visible. And I am trying to love this land, mine now to tend. Thank you.
I guess that means it's my turn. Most of you know who I am, so I'm going to skip the whole awkward intro thing. I chose mostly short poems that I don't usually read, but I thought it would be a good change of pace. This is from my first collection.
Before you read, do you know Micah McCarty?
No.
Okay. It's somebody in the waiting room, so I was...
Okay. This is called Waiting It Out, and the context for this is my grandmother eventually was diagnosed with lupus, but while they were trying to search down what it was, they thought it might be AIDS. And at the time where we lived, the hospital, they had to send the test away to get the results. And they said it would take a week. It ended up taking almost a month. So that was the tension in which this poem was written when we were waiting to find out. Waiting it out. The tonal tribal voices will no longer rise. The fatal has attacked and grows. Cry, the beloved earth, with your bitter belly drunk on tears of your children, tears of your wounds glutted and wishing to regurgitate the loss. They have not, though almost, ruled out AIDS. This week will be a lifetime waited out. Let's seek diversion. Let's speak of something other. Let's split a glass of wine. Let's be deep and weighty. Let's break down the boundaries of this claustrophobic thought. If, as the Hindus say, life is a cycle of rebirths in pursuit of moksha, why would there be a need for the Kalki avatar, which sets off a discussion of the inexhaustible mythology of India? We are not particularly interested in the answer. It is the mental stimulation of the thing that we hold precious. Oh yes, I could talk with you all night. I wish to be well witched, she said in your dream. Oh, dearest one, we all do. This week will be a lifetime waited out. The off-key southern voices will no longer keen. The fatal is our problem, too. Cry, the beloved mountain, now shaken from your steadfastness with fear for your children, fear of the night lengthened and disturbed by the nightmarish possible. I forgot to mention the welwitschia. That is a bush, I think, found in Namibia, and it lives for an extremely long time. So that's why that's there. I think that's all I say for this book. Okay, Rabbit Hole is my latest book, and it's basically a collection of found poems. And so if you get the book, there will be a list in the back of notes of where these poems came from. The one I'm going to read tonight is taken from Seamus Heaney's Nobel Prize speech. It's called A Deeper Need. 3 rooms of traditional everything, a historical pre-sexual between the archaic and the modern. Utter silence shook for us Morse code. Local accents, resonant English tones, pre-reflective. Not the news that interested me. Concentrate my hearing. Intent proximity. Walking on air immediately, a fluid and restorative relationship. Temperamental disposition, censure, any flourish. The mind still longs to repose. Taken together, simply impossible. A deeper need enters. Merit definition symptomatic of change. Caved in to hold a single thought. The whole history of the harrowing of the heart. And you can find his Nobel speech on YouTube if you want to hear the actual context that came from. This is a little book, self-made book, called Marrow, and this is my personal copy, so it looks a little rough, but you can get these by contacting me personally, and all the proceeds for it goes to St. Jude's Research Hospital for childhood cancer, and that's what the book is about, my nephew's cancer journey. I'm going to read probably the most abstract poem in it, because I don't want to reduce people to tears tonight. Not in the mood for that. This is called Memory Fractured. Carcass of wingless blackbird of prey hanging slit open, bleached wide inside. If you should try to find a seed within it, throw it down to us to pick at, splinter, misunderstand, and squander. Yeah. And this is Linger to Look. Thank you. This is Linger to Look, and it was poems inspired by history, especially like biblical history and the history of the Middle East, which is pretty much biblical history. Let's see if I can find the poems I saved in it. And also, I guess I'm a bit of a love poet, really, at heart, because that's what seems to come through the most. Okay, here we go. Here it is. This is called She Ghost. Home, 2 poems about home tonight. Home is where one is alone, dagger-focused, old. She is everything born brain lesion can never be. Everything you deserve. I cannot compete with she-goat of your past, she-ghost of your past, flip of which I am becoming a tiny lesion on the base of your time. So that's actually rather personal too. It references my cerebral palsy in that, because I have actually seen the lesion that causes it, and it's like this really tiny thing to cause so much trouble. So This is called rock sharky. This will be the last one I read. And rock sharky is the Arabic word for what we call belly dance, which is actually, belly dance is kind of a pejorative term for the dance. I think belly dancers themselves prefer it to be called Oriental dance. But it actually, the rock sharky, it literally translates to dance of the East. Isam Hushan, beat out the rain that falls on Appalachian trees. Beat out your lines that give life. Tabla Saidi to the dancers who come to you to shimmy and to play. Katima also her sing. Sing the love of Nizar Kabani and my love and the love of all like rain that falls on Appalachian trees. Zagarit. I like to read that one last because it's fun. So that's all I had to read. Is there anybody who would like to contribute a poem to a brief open mic among the audience? If not, that's okay. But I thought I would give people the chance.
Love to hear folks. Looks like Greg has raised his hand.
Just speak up because I'm not. Okay.
Yes.
Well, you go right ahead then.
Who? What was that now? Whose turn is it?
Who was it?
I think.
Who was it that wanted to, Pauletta?
Well, I saw Greg raised his hand.
I can
Greg,
do one
Go ahead.
if you wish.
Greg.
Okay.
Yep.
Greg Friedman.
Yeah, thanks. I wanted to say, Lorie, you can't see it, but behind here, this picture is of Mount Katahdin.
Ah,
Obviously, it's too far away, but I tried to climb it once with my brother, and we got beaten back by rain and snow, but it's a beautiful, beautiful place. I want to read a poem called Lake Song. On the lake, a sweet green silence floating, mirrors silver sunsheen, poised and trembling. Here's sharp beauty to be woven, a warning to sing at summer's passing. As old as rocks, as busted as the flotsam poets tumbled here, a cup, a plastic bottle, a rusted Louisville Courier daily news rack done with vending, wrecked along the lake shore, all wait to wake the music of this valley where lazy Cumberland has flowed forever. If I'm not present, can I still make music? A Zoom-bound melody to rant with birds, complaining high and shrill atop the tree line. The rumble of some distanced commerce comes, Norfolk and Southern rattling on the trestle, its fading wheels a litany and labor, departs the valley, carrying my anger. The song is slipping with the leaves soon falling onto the forest floor in silence. Their soft rustle and the haze of dying daylight will cloak the melody about vanish like the ghost train's cargo of resentment, where water awaits November's freezing shock that breaks into 100 shards of rock, the cracks of what we always thought was timeless. I'll have to shout the song once more, our chance to give it voice and send it out prophetic, a final summons, clarion-voiced and calling, what poets do when lightning lies strike hard, displacing lake love, tree truth, voiceless songs. Thank you. Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to go?
Me? I think you're looking at me, Sabne. Is that right? I'm not really sure.
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah. I think I can probably read a few little poems.
Yeah, I think I am.
You know, I wasn't really, I didn't really
I'm just
chosen
looking at whoever's on
poems,
speaker.
but I can go ahead and read a couple here from. This is
Kind of big. I thought you had volunteered. I
yeah,
heard you
yeah,
say
I can do it.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
This is from a collection of poems that I wrote in 1995, actually. I'm just going to read a few of them. It's from a collection of poems called Wish List. And this is from winter 1995 to autumn 1995. Seemed to be kind of a prolific season for me, I guess, somehow. And these poems seem to come out of that time for me. I don't want to read too many of them. I just have a few, and I didn't really expect to read. So, but it's nice to see everyone tonight, and thank you, Sabne, for inviting me too. I'm in Virginia, by the way, in the western part of Virginia. Anyway, this is called Wish List. Forgive the despot of our hearts asking. Questions flower, orchid of newer thoughts, reaching to entwine the night abounding. As if your soul were a question that cool, risking eternity, life and death are rose entwined, each question or birth a transubstantiated love. I listen with the lavender petals as the wind hurls patent kisses and the evening dreams again of your patience. Hours and hours, oh the reasons, and yet your life must be the season poised sharply on the verge. The arc or distance of turning gold leaves collides the blue china air. Hideous determinism, the singularity of godlessness, Jeffers' severed hand. I sing for souls who've met the end. Culture of eyes, stop to visit the invalid mission. Wet cathedral night, will write more when the fever has passed. As none have readily convalesced, sharing hot tea, simplicity, words are a song, the antithesis of negation. Conversion of the infinite reaching first star, a conversation now, allowing heaven, truth wine, this love embraces even our darkest hours clutching. And newer reasons begat our wishing, where this hidden promise began, mystery rose. Oh, absence that never really was. Visions of you beneath a crown of fragile stars, and cloaked in silver, storm cloud, if forever we are to know you as vision. I think that's about it for tonight, but thank you.
Your images are always so crisp and clear. It's like a painting almost. And just as notes, Ellyn maybe might appreciate this, Byron usually reads with a band too.
Yeah, and my band is, couldn't make it tonight, but we've tried to do a Zoom thing recently, and it didn't really go too well in terms of the sound. But so maybe this is like a better thing just to read than it is to have music behind me, especially if it's amplified, because we kind of blow out the mic, I think, is what happened there. But anyway, but maybe next time, we'll be able to do it acoustically or something. I can have a little bit of music for everybody. I think this is a fun gathering, Sabne. So thank you for having me, and thanks to everybody else. All these beautiful readings tonight. It's been I really enjoyed hearing everybody. A pleasure to meet everyone here.
Thank you for coming too. Thank you. Okay, so are we about done then?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. Thank you, Sabne.
Okay. Is there anybody
So, I'll share a poem.
who wants to read? are we?
Can,
Okay.
can you hear me? Is it okay if I share a poem?
Yes.
Oh, okay. My name's Bonnie Proudfoot. I live in Athens, Ohio, and I want to read one poem that I wrote about a year and a half ago.
Yes.
Can you hear me all right? Yeah? Or is it breaking up? Okay. It's called La Brea. It's named after the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles. I think that's all you really need to know, except it also makes
Yes. We can hear you.
reference to a mine cave-in here, two mine cave-ins here in Ohio. One is in Millfield, and the other one's called Upper Big Branch. That's in West Virginia. So I think that's all you need to know. La Brea. In a Los Angeles park, dark bones of animals surface, preserved in tar for 38,000 years. Here in Ohio, coal mine fires were intentionally set and have burned beneath the earth for 130 years. Nearby, well water is warm enough to brew tea, but who would drink it? In the smoldering blackness, 82 miners buried in the Millfield cave-in whisper stories of methane leaks to men under the upper Big Branch slag pile, whose bodies may never surface. You can walk the woods and see dusty smoke drift out from the damp hillside. Does the timber rattler nest in the warmed mine shafts? Now injection wells and evaporation stations line these roads like altars to extinction. Gas flares of gold shimmer in the dusk. Layers of clouds stand apart from the sky, but are still sky. We have heard that oil and water do not mix, yet here we see that they might do that. This fire, this dark heat, like blood beneath our breath, it seeps into us. We hug our pets closer while coyotes scream, but still we cane to that shrill sound. How can we know what is not yet imagined? How does it feel to take despair by the hand and gaze into its dark heart? Will anyone want this place when there is no longer anything to extract? Once, in a dense fog, I could not see the earth beneath my feet. Once I heard crows call out on a misty horizon. Once I stood in a rainstorm beside a lake while the shoreline boiled over into sky. Never mind how the sun broke the haze. Instead, there is this forsaken purpose, this pint jar of tar, this dark brush like time seeping through, and these uneasy bones stained with age, they wait their turns to rise. That's it.
Thank you.
Very good.
Yay.
And that big branch disaster is close to a lot of people's hearts in Appalachia. So yeah, that landed. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us this evening and for being patient when we were so rudely interrupted with the Zoom on. I'm going to try to edit that out. If I can, I will be putting this on my YouTube and I will share it. So we'll watch my space on Facebook for that. If I can't get that edited out, then I won't be doing that. But I'm so honored that hopefully we can do this again sometime. Enjoy your all evening.